Hello, 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 hi. Welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can. Safely close your eyes. Just let you know that I have a Facebook group called Jason Newland's Boring Group. You can join if you wanna. Got a YouTube channel called at Jason Newland, and I've decided that from now on I'm going to just upload my recordings on YouTube directly from the podcast. So I've got a podcast connected, so it's a separate podcast connected to YouTube, and now every time I release the 6 new versions of a new recording, they will go online onto YouTube. So you'll have no music 1, no music 5 hours, no music 10 hours, one with music, 5 and 10 hours with music. So they'll all be available on YouTube. And just exactly the same as my podcasts, but on YouTube. So thank you to Hillary for your very, very kind PayPal gift. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And let me have a look, because I did do a recording. Let's have a look. Hillary I did say thank you on the Facebook group. Hillary says, thank you for the recording, can't wait to listen. Perhaps you should have listened before you sent the PayPal gift. You may be disappointed, sorry, but hopefully I'll make up to it with other recordings I do, which is all I seem to do, is make recordings lately. I had a message or a comment which I did, because basically I did Trivia Tuesday, Let Me Bore You to Sleep 1322, which was 2 days ago, the 8th of April, because it's now the 10th. And it was talking about the menopause, a subject that I don't know much about, of course. And Michelle posted, I really enjoyed this one. I didn't fall asleep though. LOL. So yeah, it's I just don't know. It was one of those that it was a request. I did it, but I didn't really. I mean, when do I ever really know what I'm doing? Or when do I know what I'm talking about? Rarely. But you know, I give it a go. I might be rubbish, but I do give it a go. So that's one thing I can. Maybe that could be my new nickname. Give it a goer. Give it a goer. Yeah. So today, blimey, just literally this week so far. I've got the window open just to let some air in. Got a bit of a tummy ache. So I'm just like letting the air in, and it's like I need to do a big burp. A mouth fart, as it were. So today I did a recording, Let Me Bore Your Pain Away, number 17, for a frozen shoulder. No, that was yesterday, sorry. Today I've done Playful Body Scan, which was Deep Sleep Whisper 532. It's more softly spoken than deep, and then Whisper, really. And then you've got done a Let Me Bore Your Pain Away number 18, which I did a few hours back. And now I'm doing this. It's been quite a while since I did 3 recordings in one day. But yesterday I did 2 recordings. Frozen Shoulder, Let Me Bore Your Pain Away number 17. And then Whisper Wednesday. And then on Tuesday, blimey, I did 2 recordings as well. I did the Trivia Tuesday Menopause, and then I also did a Quantum Memory Shift, which was Relaxation Hypnosis for Stress number 239. And Monday, wow, really? I did 2 recordings on Monday as well. What a week. Let Me Bore Your Pagophobia. Either pagophobia or phagophobia. It's PH. So it's basically swallowing, fear of swallowing or swallowing phobia. I think, well, I suppose it could, but you know, fear of swallowing. So I did that, and I also did the Monday's Boring Objects as well, where I talked about Big Brother. I should have put that in the title, really, but the image is an image of the Big Brother house. And Sunday, so that was, yeah, blimey. And I did a recording on Sunday, Sunday's papers, did a recording Saturday, Friday. Blimey, wow. Then I did a recording Thursday. Then Wednesday, Whispers. Tuesday, Trivia. Monday's Boring Objects. Sunday, Papers. That's quite a few days in a row. And I've been doing 2 a day. Apart from today, well, I've done 3. Well, all together, come on, you know what's next. There's a hero if you look inside your tent. I figured tent is a bit better than pants, but okay. You look inside your pants, ooh. So, I don't know what the ooh is for. Ooh. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with myself, but you know, I'm also aware that before this period, if we go back just a little while, just a little bit, 7th of April last month, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 31st of March, 30th of March, 28th of March, 25th of March. So there was a few gaps before that. 24th, 23rd, 21, 20. So it's, yeah, there's a few little breaks. 19th, 2 on the 19th. Really? Wow. And then the 18th, 17th, 16th, 14th. I'm hearing someone going. So either they're experiencing pain or pleasure, or both, I'm not sure. I hear some of the strangest sounds out of that window. Well, I have to ignore it because usually it's just, well, I don't know what it is, to be honest. Well, I've done pretty well, actually. I'm thinking about it because I went through a period in March where I was not doing so very great. but I still managed to make some recordings. So it's about really just when the time is right, make a recording, and then, you know, so there's the odd day or two, but it wasn't like every day in March. So it's, yeah, wow. I'm pleased. I mean, it wasn't only a couple of weeks ago where I was going to quit, so I don't know. Well, I just was going to take a break maybe till the end of the year. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Just have these little bits of energy. That's the thing about bipolar, which doesn't. I don't know if okay, I don't know what people know. It's a guess, isn't it? Who am I to say what the general public know and don't know? I mean, I'm part of the general public, so something that I didn't know about bipolar. I always thought it was always just moods. It's moods, up and down, up and down, up and down. Which, it's a mood disorder. But there's so much more to it. And it's an energy thing as well. I don't know if I can really explain it. I can only talk from my own perspective. I get a wave of energy, and this is how I would have explained it 10 years ago, which is probably the best way to explain it in a way. Maybe it's like surfing. I would explain this 30 years ago, 20 years, like this. It's like surfing. And sometimes on a calm day, bearing in mind, with a surfboard, you're limited to what you can do. There's no waves. You're just pretty much sitting there. So those would be the days, that would be the time when I'd be inactive, because there was no energy. And I might want to go back. This is something I wouldn't do because I don't swim, really, or surf. But as an analogy, an analogy. So it's waiting for the waves to come. But when a wave comes, ride it. So that's what I do. That's what I've been doing in my life for decades. I try and ride the waves when they arrive. But sometimes, unfortunately, with waves you can go up as well, down as well as up. That's the ones when it's choppy waters, so it's down and up, and I have to kind of ride those ones as well. So sometimes it's kind of more downs than ups, and other times it's more ups and downs, and it's choppy, and sometimes it's one really big one. And maybe I'm going through I wouldn't say it was a big one, to be honest with you. It's not a big wave, but it's a more kind of energetic wave that I'm riding at the moment. Part of that might be because Big Brother's back on TV, and it's given me a little boost, and I've got a routine now that I haven't had for a long time, because I don't watch television at specific times normally. I'm still not, actually. I watch the news. I like to see what's on, but we've got news on 24 hours a day, so I can just dip into it whenever I want, or I can go onto YouTube and just go into the news channels, watch Fox News Live, or CNN Live, or go onto the Sky or BBC, Australia, whatever. I can watch the news live or catch up on the latest stuff. I'm not spending all day watching the news, otherwise I probably would be in bed right now. So, but now I've got this little routine. So, I'm going to talk about my routines. Should we talk about my routines? not just now, but in the past. So this is my routine at the moment. I start from when I get up in the morning. So I don't set my alarm unless I have to go somewhere. Like if I have an appointment in the morning, whether it's a doctor's, dentists, I don't know, whatever it is, if I have an appointment in the morning, I set my alarm. If the appointment's not till like 3:30, 4 in the afternoon, I don't set my alarm. There's like no point, because the chances of me sleeping all day and all night, or all through the day, I mean, it has happened, but it's very unlikely. So on an average, normal kind of day, I wake up between 4 and 6. Sometimes it depends. It's really depends. And I'll just get up. If I feel, because there's, you know, if I feel awake, I'll wake up, I'll get up. And this week I've been doing a different routine. Admittedly, only for the last 2 days, maybe 3 days. I should tell you what my old routine was, shouldn't I? Anyway, what I've been doing for the last 2 days, I've got up and I've made a recording. So I take my tummy tablet, which is for acid reflux, take that, and I have to leave it about half an hour or more before eating. So what I do is, or what I have done the last 2 days, make a recording. Yesterday it was a deep sleep, no, it was a Whisper Wednesday. So that lasted over an hour. So that was, but great time of the day to make a whisper recording when there's very little going on, sound-wise. Although there is a neighbour still shouting various times of the day, night. So I don't know, but generally, other than that, it's usually fairly quiet. There's no loud music generally or anything like that at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. But I say sometimes like 5, 6 in the morning, depends. I don't have a routine, but I'm just talking to you about a routine, and I just say that I don't have a routine. But you know, this is kind of a new routine. So I get up, do a wee-wee. That's the first thing I do. I mean, it's good because I get to check it's still there, so that's nice. And then I look in the mirror. I think, oh, never mind. And I put my trousers back on. And I go into I wash my hands, and I go into the kitchen, have my tablet. No, tablet. If I've just make sure there's a bowl for my breakfast when it's time, make sure it's got filled with water or whatever, because I've only got 2 bowls, and yeah, 1 cup, 2 bowls. There was a video called that, wasn't there? And I never saw that video, thankfully. It was bad enough seeing the centipede. Why? Who? What entered into? I mean, what? Why? Why? What would go through someone's mind to want to make a movie like Centipede? It's still among the most. You know, it's definitely not one to watch with your family at Christmas, is it? Come on, should we watch Scrooge or can we watch The Centipede? Which one's most Christmassy? So, what am I talking about? The Centipede? Blimey. Oh, so yeah. So I get up, go to the toilet, wash my hands. Vinny's now hassling me. It's 11 minutes past 7. We will be hearing the chip van at some point, which means Vinny will start barking, but I'll have to edit that out. But it usually comes 7:30 to 8 in the evening, and with the window open we'll hear it, because it's got this it's like a chip van, a converted chip van. It's like an ice cream van converted. So instead of ice cream, it's chip. It's like, fish and chips. And I'd say it's exactly the same van, but got different stuff in it. But instead of like do 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 do, like the old ice cream jingles, do 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 do, or was that Dukes of Hazzard? But then it goes like grinding metal. Is it really? It's what you'd imagine. Remember Jaws from the James Bond movies? It's like him trying to yodel. It's that kind of sound. It's an awful sound, really awful sound. No offence to Jaws from James Bond. Richard Keel, wasn't it? Yeah. That's good of me. How can I remember stuff like that? So I had my tablet. I come in. I set up the recording. I usually go onto the laptop and see if I've got any messages or any comments, see what the stats are for my recordings, on my podcast. So I woke up, I would have looked and saw, okay, it was a good day yesterday. That's nice. Good stats. YouTube is, it grows. It's YouTube's a bit strange, unless I make videos of myself on there, I don't get a lot of traction. But I don't really want to make videos of myself. I'd rather just make the podcast, have the freedom of just expression without being seen. I don't, it's not really me anymore. And this is just, this is more what I want to do. So I'll post this stuff on YouTube, but I don't get a lot of comments or anything. I've got 1,550 subscribers, and still getting 3.6 thousand views a month, just under 1,000 hours a month views. So it's just sort of standard, so I'm kind of staying around the same. And then I set the microphone, set the computer, set the system up to the recording system up. Make the recording. So I'll talk, whatever it is I'm going to talk about. So I guess I'm using today and yesterday as an example. Today was shorter, so I think the recording I did today, if we look back, let's have a look. What was it? Playful body scan. That lasted 44 minutes and 23 seconds. So, and the Let Me Bore Your Pain Away number 18 lasted 1 hour and 28 seconds. So what I did then is I pressed the stop button, turned off the equipment. I went and washed my cup up. I can't remember if there was a bowl already. I think it might have been. A bowl was already there to be used. But I washed up the other bowl for later on, rinsed out the bowl that I was going to use, made sure that there's no washing up liquid or anything smell in the cup or the mug. It's a blue. Is it green or blue? One of them. And I put it down. So I've got the facing the window is the sink and the draining board, and on the right hand side is the boiler. To my left, so if I literally turn to my left, there's like a little, I don't know, a kitchen cabinet or whatever that I've got my kettle, toaster on. So I put the kettle on, maybe put put water in it first, then put the kettle on. I put a cup nearer the sink, and I put the bowl next to the kettle. Next to that is the cooker, and on the cooker I've got my what do you call it? The fryer thing. What's it called? Dry fryer. Is it dry fryer? Quick fryer? Dry fryer? Wet fryer? Fast fryer? I don't know. They're pretty amazing. But yeah, I've got one of them. So that's on top of the oven. I don't use, or on top of it's the oven. Cooker. I don't really use the cooker very often. Air fryer, that's it. So I use the air fryer more often than anything else now. So what I do then is I go over to the fridge. Sometimes I put the tea bag, because I've got a cupboard above the kettle, and that's where my tea bags are. So I'll take a tea bag out, put it into the cup. Now, until last probably December, November time, I was using 2 tea bags per cup of tea, because I was just being a bit impatient. I thought I'd just put them both in, makes the tea quicker, and but then I ran out of tea bags, and the local shop didn't have any tea bags, and I wasn't impressed with that. Actually, it might be last summer. It might not have actually been. No, I think it was during Christmas, or during that period. So I decided to just use 1 tea bag per cup of tea, but put the hot water on and leave it for a little bit longer. That's got to be the most boring thing I've ever said in my life. Wow. Did you really just spend the last 5 minutes talking about how you only use 1 tea bag now instead of 2 tea bags like you used to? Yes, I did. Why? I don't know. I just wish I hadn't. But you can edit it out, can't you? No. Well, I can if I want to. If I could say the term editing it out. But no, I'm going to leave it in. My voice sounds a bit croaky today. Maybe it's because of all the talking I've done. No. So I put I put a tea bag in, put the hot water in, then I go over to the fridge and I put a dash of milk in the tea, like in the cup. Then I go, then I have some milk. Either sometimes it's only I buy these 2 litre Cravendale milks, semi-skimmed. Sometimes they get nearly empty, so I can't use it for breakfast cereal. So I just use the ends of it, the last bit of it, for milk. So I maybe got 3 or 4 cups of tea out of that. So I'll go back to the fridge and put it back in the fridge. Unless, of course, it's run out, then I don't. I wouldn't do that. I'll put it I'll chuck it out the window. No, I don't. Usually. So I go back to the fridge, get a new bottle, or get a bottle that's, got some milk in it, and pour, nearly a bowl full, 3/4 of a bowl, maybe a little bit more, of milk. Fill it up to it's nearly full of milk. Put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And that's for my ready break. So while that's going on, I go out of the kitchen. So basically, opposite the fridge is the kitchen door. Oh, a bit of the gas is coming out now. That's nice. I mean, it wasn't loud enough for me to have to really tell you about it, unless you did hear it. And still one of the funniest things I ever saw was an episode of Taxi, and I think it was just a clip, but I might have seen some of the episode. And you know the bloke from Back to the Future, the professor, Back to the Future. So he was in, I didn't know this, but he was in Taxi. He was one of the stars of Taxi. And I knew about like Danza, is it Ted Danza, and some of the others, and also the squeaky bloke. I forget his name now, but I didn't realise he was in it. And there's one scene where, what was his name in Back to the Future? The nutty professor, Doctor. What's it? It's Marty McFly. Professor. Was it? It was a professor, wasn't it? Professor. I don't know. Anyway, so he's in Taxi. He's one of the taxi drivers, I guess. And he's been looking after someone else's apartment. But there was an accidental fire. And he gets it all out and everything. I think the fire service gets called. And no one's hurt. It's all, you know. But he calls someone round because he's a bit worried because the people are coming back that day. So he opens the door, and one of the other taxi drivers is standing in the door, opens the door, and he's standing there, and the whole of the inside of the flat is just completely destroyed. And he says to the other taxi driver, "Is it noticeable?" With his eye, with his eyes and his expression on his face, and that is very funny. It's just something I remember. I saw that probably 30 years ago, and it's still stuck with me. Because they don't even show Taxi on TV here. They used to a long time ago. That's a great comedy show. I think so. I think it's very funny. So, so is it noticeable? And that was because of whether or not I burped and you heard it. Yeah, like going off in different directions today. Normally I'm so focused, focused. So what's next? So I go out the door. I turn left into the bathroom. I clean my teeth. I kind of bit. Sometimes I do it first thing before, but I kind of clean my teeth, do my makeup and all that, and then I'll go back into the kitchen. I'll probably check in the mirror again, just give myself a kiss. And then I'll go back into the kitchen, so I'll turn right. I'll go out the bathroom, turn right into the kitchen. By this point, I would have heard the beep, 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 beep from the microwave, telling me that the milk has been heated up thoroughly. So I pick up and the good thing about it is there's enough time for me, for when I get in there, open up the door of the microwave, I can pick it up without scolding myself. And by that I don't mean telling myself off. I'm talking about it's not too hot. It's hot, but it's not too hot. For example, if I was going to stand there and watch it for 3 minutes or 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and then when it goes beep, 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 like that, and I went to pick it up, I'll be going, ouch. But when I do it in the morning, I'll be in the bathroom, I don't go, ouch. I don't think I'll make any sounds. So I carry it over to the other desktop thing in the kitchen, a this point, the cup is now with the tea bag and a little bit of milk and hot water. It's not like scalding hot anymore, but it's definitely kind of made a nice tea. So what I do, I don't leave it there. So I'm going to open the cupboard, and sometimes, because I have ready break, a few of the flakes sometimes get out. I don't want them falling into my tea. So I move the cup of tea onto the, I don't know, the draining board of this sink. Sometimes I put it onto the freezer because I've got a flat freezer. I put it on there. Not in the freezer, but on the lid. Because I don't need to get into the freezer first thing in the morning. I can't even think of a reason I'd need to do that. No. Huh? Huh. So then I walk back. Well, I say walk back, it's like one step. It's not a big kitchen. So one step back and I'm in front of the milk. So then I think, oh, I go and get the spoon. So I rinse the spoon through. I never ever use anything without rinsing it off first. Cutlery, whether it's a teaspoon, a fork, a knife, anything. And the same with bowls and cups. I always rinse them out first before using them. It's just what I do. It's one of my little things. It's not the weirdest thing I do. So I rinsed this spoon through, and then I realised, because what I'm about to do is mix the ready break powder into the milk. But what I need to do first of all is get the tea bag out of the tea. So I stir the tea bag, just make sure, stir the water rather. It's a nice texture, it's a nice colouring. But then I realise, especially if I've put it onto the freezer, I don't really want to I can push the tea bag. Got to be careful it doesn't break, otherwise, well, chaos, isn't it? It's tea leaf chaos. So, but in order to get it from the top of the freezer over to the sink area is going to be drippage. And I'm far from house proud. I'm in a very different corner to being house proud. But at the same time, I am slippery conscious. I don't want to be leaving liquid on the floor. Generally, because it's a slip hazard, so I don't want that. So that leaves me with a question, or it leaves me with, it's not an existential query, it's not like a life choice necessarily, but how do I get the tea bag onto the sink without it causing even, minimal drippage? So I figured out what I do is I pick the cup up, I drain it, like I press the tea bag with the spoon against the side of the cup. Well, I say mug, it's not a big mug. It's kind of more of a, you got a cup and a mug. So it's more of a cug, maybe. I just did a big burp. I edited it out for you. You're welcome. So I can, I could do that, and then what I do is I hold the tea bag above the cup or the mug, and then I just gently walk, take a step, but quite often I just take little steps, so it feels like I'm walking to the sink area, and then sometimes I'll just chuck it in the sink and then sort it out later, and then I go back and put the cup back onto the freezer top. But then there's the issue of like, okay, just now I'm stirring because you've got to stir the tea after the tea bag's out, just to even out the amount of, I guess, tea and milk and water, and I don't have sugar anymore. But the problem with that is I don't want drippage from the spoon. You might think, well, just tap it on the side of the cup and that stops the spillage. Yeah, but I can't really do that because it's maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's not fair on the neighbours to be hearing that. But what about the microwave going bing, 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 bing? I can't avoid that. What can I do? You can't put a silencer on it. What am I supposed to put? Is there such a thing as a microwave cozy? Something you can put on top of a microwave to stop it from being so noisy? I don't know. I don't know why things have to have those beep, 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 loud things. I've got exactly the same thing on the air fryer. I don't need it to go dee 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 every time I put the lid down. Why? Why is it doing that? So maybe there's a way of turning it off. I haven't thought about that. So what I started to think is maybe if I just keep the cup near the sink at all times, that way it's not something I need to really be concerned about. And it saves a lot of like faffing around and keep moving the cup towards the sink and then back to the freezer, then move to the sink and then back to the freezer top. And I mean, it's not, to me, it's not about saving time, because I'm not that bothered. It's not like hugely time consuming. I don't think I'm going to get to the end of my life and just regret all the time I spent squeezing a tea bag. I don't think that's going to be on my mind. How many minutes I might have got back if I hadn't done that. Now I think I'll be fine. I'm at peace with my tea bag squeezing time allotment. So now I generally just, if I put it onto the freezer, I've already got rid of the tea bag. So, so it's there. Although sometimes I forget to take it into the living room with me, because putting it on top of the freezer is a relatively new thing. I say new, but in the last year or so, probably. Maybe 6 months. Year. Might be 5 years. It's really hard to know, to be honest. It's new. I mean, at my age, something new could go back at least 10 years, I think. I mean, I've only been living here 10 years, and this is new. I've literally been living here for 10 years now. I've never lived anywhere for 10 years. Well, I've lived here for 10 years. This is the only place, the only building or property in my entire life that I've lived at for 10 years. Before that, the longest I ever lived anywhere would be my family home, which was between the ages of 9 and 15. So what's that? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 6 years. So I spent 6 years in a place before. I spent 4 years in a couple of places. 3 years in a couple of places. Sometimes a few months here, a few weeks here, there, whatever. But yeah, this is the longest ever I've stayed in one place. Wow. So yeah, I got the spoon and I walk over to the, we're about to have the chip van and Vinny's about to start barking. As he always does. Don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear it? Perhaps you could hear it better if I wasn't yabbering on. So, oh, he hasn't barked. That's weird. He's probably like thinking, well, you think I'm going to bark? I'm not now. He's just doing it just to contradict me, to make me look bad. You don't need my help for that. Stop it. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so then I'll go over to the bowl which has got milk in. It's getting a bit cooler at this point. So what I always do, I don't like skin on milk. Never have. That's why I wouldn't drink milky coffee. Don't like skim on milk. Ugh. So I get that off with a spoon, chuck that. No, it's really not really a lot on there, to be honest, but just any little residual skinny stuff. Chuck it into the sink, rinse the spoon out, and then I start to pour open the cupboard above the kettle, which is kind of where I've got my bowl. I get the bag, because it does actually come in a box, but it's a bag inside a box of ready break. Excuse me, and I just did another quiet one. But the box takes up too much room. So that's something that I didn't realise until I moved here, how much packaging there is with shopping. Because, you know, pretty much nearly everywhere else I lived, I've just bought stuff as I needed it. I might get a few bits to fill the fridge, but I just, you know, if I was sharing a house, I might only have like one shelf on a fridge and one little bit of cupboard space. So it really is a case of just having to go to the shops at least every 2 days. But when I moved in here, I could buy a whole week's worth of stuff, and I had somewhere to put it. But that's when I realised that the amount of packaging is ridiculous, like really ridiculous. It's just like, wow. I never realised it before. I mean, that pile outside my kitchen window is getting higher and higher. So, lots of boxes, ready brick boxes. Remember the council came round and said, do you know whose ready brick boxes they are? And I said, don't know. Who the heck eats ready brick these days? That's something that kids used to eat in the 70s and 80s. We laughed. And I think I threw him off the track. Mind you, it doesn't help the fact that Sainsbury's, when I get orders through Uber Eats, they actually put my name on the boxes because they come loose. So there's like Jason on the box. So hopefully they don't know my name. So I mix the ready break into the milk. It's like a folding action, really. It's a little bit like, I suppose, when you fold flour into I don't, you know, when you're making a cake, what would be the mix that you'd fold flour into? Would it be egg and milk mixed together, and then you fold in the flour and or the batter or whatever? So yeah, it's a little bit like that. And I've been doing this for a long time now, so I'm not saying I'm an expert, because that's something not really to brag about, is it? You know, what's your special skill? I'm really good at making ready break. I know how to make a perfect consistence. Like, no. However, I am quite pleased that I do a fairly good job of it. So I make that. I try and make it fairly thick, but not too thick. Not too thick where I need to start adding milk again, because that defeats the object. Plus, the milk I add is cold, so it cools it down. And although I don't want it to be like super hot, by the time I get it, I want it to at least be warm. And then what I do, I put some fruit on top of it, and I then Vinny's hassling me. Stop, Vinny, calm down, mate. Calm yourself down, baby. So what have we got? So that. Right. Let's have a look. So I just have to have a little break there just to call my neighbour and let him know the chip van's here. He didn't know it was here. So they're here early because sometimes we don't get here till 8:30. It's usually between 7:30 and 8. It's really here before 8 really, but sometimes it is. Last week I went out there, took Vinny out, and my neighbour wasn't out there, and I thought, that's weird. So I went up to the van. It was the back of the van, not the bit where they serve, but the back was open as well. I suppose they need to let air in, don't they, to be fair? And I didn't want to get in the way of the customers, and so what I did, I went up to the back of the van. This is the chip van. And he said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I said his name because they know who he is. He's a really loyal customer of theirs. He's regular. I said, "Has he been down?" They said, "No." I said, "I'll go and get him." So I went and got him, and he'd fallen asleep. The reason it's important, you might think, what's it got to do with me? What am I getting involved for? That's his meal of the week. That's the only real cooked meal he has in a week. I think he cooks himself little bits and bobs and that, but he makes the fish and chips last 2 days. And I think he heats the fish up again the next day. And so I didn't realise how important it was, because we kind of live really out of the way here. So there's no shops, there's no takeaways, not really anything close by to buy anything. I mean, sandwiches, you can get sandwiches from the petrol station, but yeah, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with sandwiches, but yeah, yeah, I don't really like sandwiches anymore. I'd rather just make my own sandwiches. It's easier. And I got him, he was asleep, and then just now I heard the van, and Vinny lets me know every time he comes out of his door, unfortunately. So I heard that he hadn't got out, so I thought I'll just give him a ring, see if he's awake. And he answered. He didn't know that it was there, so he didn't hear it. So yeah, at least now he's gone to go and get his chips, so that's good. I didn't want him to. Yeah, he's definitely gone down. That's good. I don't want him to miss his dinner. It's weird. When did I become so caring and considerate? I never wanted to be like this. I wanted to be tough and I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. I didn't see this coming. I never used to be like this when I was younger. I'd have no interest. I would have even 20 years ago, I wouldn't have even known my neighbours. I might have said hello to them, but I wouldn't have known them. I wouldn't have spent time with them. I wouldn't have had conversations with them, other than like, cold today, innit? Warm today, innit? I think it's going to rain. I think it's going to rain. That's it. Those kinds of conversations. But for some reason, I made an effort when I got here, and it's not the first time I made an effort, but it's, you know, it's the most effort I put in for a long time, really. And it's weird. I don't know. It's like I'm broken or something. I want that my old self back, where I just didn't care about anything. Didn't care about anyone else. Do I really? No, I don't really. Life was easier back then, though. Not taking in other people's problems, but the thing is, I look at like my neighbour. He's nearly 80. He's about a year younger than my dad, and he lives on his own, single man. And I see him and I'm thinking, you know, if I'm lucky, that will be me one day. If I'm lucky, if I'm fortunate and I'm still around, that will be me. Living on my own, maybe in this flat. Oh dear. I feel ill just thinking about it. But yeah, that could be me. And maybe I'll need help. Maybe I will need a neighbour to be there for me, to help me out through a few little things. So that's kind of where I am with this. I'm not doing it with the hope that someone will help me, but in the future. But I do think of it like from a karmic perspective. You know, we get what we receive. No, we receive what we give out. Eventually, it takes a while sometimes, but that's why I just try and help people as much as possible. There's just some things I can't do anymore. Things that I've done in the past that I don't want to do anymore. StudioRadio.co. I just did another big burp. I really did need to get rid of the burps today. I feel a bit better now. Wow. The ultimate AI playbook for radio pros. What is this? Radio.co. The course offers 180 plus prompts. It's basically a radio show thing. But I don't really need that, do I? Do I need to be going live? Is there any point for me doing a radio show? Maybe in the future, you know, if podcasts stop for whatever reason, you know, because, you know, when I started, podcasts weren't popular. And they've gone in and out of popularity. They were really popular for a while. Then they kind of just pretty much disappeared. They're still going, but there was people weren't really talking about it. And then they became really popular again. Now, I don't know. Not sure where they are. Let's have a look. Podcasts popularity through the years. Let's have a look. Podcasting worldwide statistics. Let's have a look at this. Okay, let's look at the UK. No. United States and Canada, Latin America, Europe, Nordics, Australia. So I guess we're part of Europe, are we? Oh, in the UK, ranking. This is Spotify. Okay, this is 2017 to 2026. So it has gone up every year, but there was a big old jump. Oh, what's this? This is interesting. Right, it's not given to me unless I pay. Statista. I don't want to... That's annoying. Right. Right, 41 podcast. The growth of podcasts in 2025. Can you hear that? Is that a helicopter? That is a helicopter, yeah. Oh, it's a little one. Looks like it might be I don't know, it's a helicopter. That's all I can tell you. So let's have a look. 2005. Wow, did you know this? Key milestones in podcasting. 2004, the term podcast is first introduced. I started podcasting in 2006. 2005, Apple integrates podcasts into iTunes. And 2010s, mobile devices and faster internet connectivity fuel the rise of podcast consumption. So yeah, I would say fair enough, because that's when it kind of started to get more like late 2007, 2008. And then 2019, Spotify invests heavily in podcasting, acquiring companies like Anchor, Gimlet and Parcast, shifting a balance of power in the industry. But Apple's still the top by so much. So there was, but I think that did boost around that time, like 2018, 17. There was a bit of a lull, I would say, in podcasts. But well, for me anyway, there was a bit of a lull, probably between 2000 and I don't know. When did I? 2009 to about 2000 and maybe 18 for me. I mean, I was still getting 100,000 listens a year, but it was, that was like, nor was it 250,000. I don't know, but it was, but it was quite small. It wasn't like a huge amount, although, so I'm not really getting a huge amount these days, but during the 2020 period, record high listeners for, well, I was going to say obvious reasons, and that's when I got my most listeners ever during that period. 2023, the global podcast market was valued at over 18 billion. That's not that much, really, is it? When you think how many, there's something like 10 million podcasts out there. I mean, 20, I'm not saying 20, I'm not saying 18 billion is not a lot of money. No, that's not what I'm saying. Please don't get me wrong there. It's just not quite. I just thought if you put all of the podcasters together, there'd be more. Apparently the age group 18 to 24, 35% listeners. This is 2024. 30% is 25 to 34. 35 to 44 is 20% of the listeners. 45 to 54, 10%, and 55 plus, 5%. Now, my podcasts seem to, I think, if I'm right, I'm going to have to check this. Sources, geolocation. No, I don't. I'm pretty sure I used to be able to see what kind of age group I had. I know I could do it on YouTube, but I thought I could do it on the podcast, but apparently not. Geolocation, I've got downloads, sources, Apple at the top, always. Way above everyone. So just for this month, Apple's 87%. Another interruption. That's someone knocking at the door. Blimey. So yeah, then I bring the food, the bowl of breakfast cereal and a cup of tea. What I do is, I'm trying to think which hand. So I hold the cup of tea with my left hand, or cup of tea and the bowl, and I balance it, and I open the door, close the door, go into the living room, and then I have my breakfast. I watch Big Brother from the evening before, the previous evening, and I watch it back on catch up on ITVX app on TV. It's lovely. And then after that, I will edit the recording and upload it and do all that stuff. Then I'll probably go for a nap. Then I'll get up and I kind of repeat the process really. And I did another recording. I never edit I say never, but generally I don't edit and process and all the stuff that goes with it straight away. I'll wait a few hours, give myself a break from it, or at least an hour or so, and then I'm usually in bed by about 10 or 11. Yeah, I mean, I don't normally do 3 recordings in a day, but today I have. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, to be fair, but I'm going to go and have a lie down because I just feel a bit bloated, that's all. Just a bit tired, just need to have a little lie down. So I might have done too many recordings today, so I won't have the day off tomorrow, but I will probably just do one recording, which is the Q&A Friday. But I've only got one question so far, so whether or not is it worth doing a Q&A Friday for just one question, I don't know. Anyway, take care. Thanks for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself, because you deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.